Your Honours, this is case number IT0148T, the prosecutor versus Sefer Halilovic.
Thank you. For the sake of the records, could we have the appearances, please? For the prosecution?
Good morning, Your Honours. For the Office of the Prosecutor, Philip Weiner. With me to my left is Sarita Chana. Behind us is Attorney David Ray and Attorney Manoj Sachdeva. And to my right is the case manager, Anna Katalinic.
Thank you. And for the defense?
Yes, may it please the court. My name's Peter Morrissey. I appear for Mr. Halilovic, and with me, Mr. Metro.
Thank you. Mr. Halilovic? Can you follow the proceedings in a language that you could understand?
Yes, Your Honor. I can understand the proceedings.
I understand that you just come back from your provisional release. How was your stay in Sarajevo?
Thanks to Your Honor's indulgence, it was very pleasant and useful.
Much. You may sit down, please. Trial Chamber 1, Section A, is sitting today to render the judgment in the case of prosecutor versus Sefer Halilovic. For the purpose of this hearing, the trial chamber will summarize briefly its findings, emphasizing that this is a summary only, that the only authoritative account of trial chamber's finding and of its reasons for those findings is to be found in the written judgment, copy of which will be made available to the parties and to the public at the conclusion of this hearing. This trial against the accused, Sefer Halilovic, started on the 31st of January 2005 and closed on the 31st of August 2005. During that time, the trial chamber heard the evidence of 41 live witnesses and admitted the testimony of another 14 witnesses pursuant to Rule 92 bis. The trial chamber admitted approximately 500 exhibits during the trial. The alleged case. The indictment against Sefer Halilovic concerns murders alleged to have been committed by troops belonging to the Army of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina in the villages of Grabovica and Uzdol in Jablanica and the Prozor area in Herzegovina in September 1993 during a military operation allegedly called Operation Neretva. The prosecution alleges that Sefer Halilovic was the commander of this operation, and as such the troops involved in the Operation Neretva was under his command and control. The prosecution alleges that the operation was commanded and coordinated from a forward commander post, or IKM, in Jablanica. One axis of attack, which was in the area where Grabovica is situated, was commanded by Zulfikar Ališpago and involved parts of the units from the ABiH Force Corps. These units came from the 9th Motorised Brigade, the 10th Mountain Brigade, and the 2nd Independent Battalion. Another axis of attack, which was in the area where Uzdol is situated, involved Prozor Independent Battalion and was commanded by Enver Buza. It is alleged that Sefer Halilovic, knowing of the 9th and 10th Brigade's notorious reputation of being criminal and uncontrolled in behavior, ordered the deployment of parts of units of these brigades to Herzegovina. It further alleged between the 7th and 8th of September 1993, the unit of 9th Brigade and the part of the unit of 10th Brigade, as well as the 2nd Independent Battalion, were billeted in the village of Grabovica. The indictment alleges between the 8th and the 9th of September 1993, 33 Bosnian Croat villagers were killed in Grabovica. The indictment further alleges Sefer Halilovic had knowledge of the criminal reputation of the 9th and 10th Brigades and had been present on the 8th September. When Vabia Karic, a member of the inspection team, told the troops that they should try those Bosnia Croat civilians summarily and throw them into Neretva River, if the villagers did not allow the soldier to be billeted in their houses. In light of this, the indictment alleges that Sefer Halilovic, once notified during the night of the 8th of September about killing of the civilians, was duty-bound to act urgently to prevent the commission of any further crimes. According to the prosecution, Sefer Halilovic was ordered on the 12th of September by Rasim Delic to reconsider the scope of Neretva 93 operation to isolate the perpetrators of the crimes in Grabovica and to take active measures and to immediately report on the measures he had taken. It is alleged that Sefer Halilovic failed to implement the order of Rasim Delic, resulting in a failure to punish the perpetrators of the crime. The indictment also alleged that on the 14th of September 1993, in the course of the operation, the Prozor Independent Battalion attacked the village of Uzdol and killed 29 Bosnia Croat civilians and 1 HVO prisoner of war. The prosecution alleged that Sefer Halilovic, by virtue of his position and authority as commander of the Operation Neretva, had effective control over the units subordinated to him, including the 9th Brigade, the 10th Brigade, the 2nd Independent Battalion, and the Prozor Independent Battalion. In view of these alleged facts, Sefer Halilovic is charged with murder, punishable under Article 3 of the statute, as recognized by Article 3(1)(a) of Geneva Conventions. The indictment alleged that Sefer Halilovic incurs criminal responsibility under Article 7(3) of the statute, things notwithstanding his duty as a commander. Sefer Halilovic did not take effective measures to prevent the killing of civilians in Grabovica and did not take steps to carry out a proper investigation to identify the perpetrators of the killings in both Grabovica and Uzdol, and as a commander of the operation, to punish them accordingly. The accused. On the 25th of May 1992, Sefer Halilovic was appointed by the Presidency of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina as commander of the territorial defense. After July 1992, he was the chief of the General Staff of the ABiH until 18th August 1992, when the ABiH presidency formed 5 corps of the ABiH with Sefer Halilovic as chief of the main staff of the ABiH. Sefer Halilovic served as the supreme ABiH commander until 8 June 1993, when the President of the Republic of Bosnia and Herzegovina issued a decision restructuring the ABiH Supreme Command Headquarters and creating a new position of Commander of the Main Staff, which was filled by Rasim Delic, while Sefer Halilovic retained the position of Chief of the Main Staff of the ABiH. On the 18th July 1993, Alija Izetbegovic issued a further decision making the Chief of the Main Staff a Deputy Commander, thus increasing the number of the Deputy Commanders to 3. According to the decision, the Deputy Commanders would assume the duties of the Chief of the Main Staff on rotational basis. Facts in relation to Grabovica. The trial chamber has found that in order to conduct a combat operation in Herzegovina to lift HVO blockade of Mostar, at the time relevant to the indictment, units of the 9th Brigade, 10th Brigade, and the 2nd Independent Battalion, all subordinated to ABiH 1st Corps, were sent from Sarajevo to Jablanica sector. This was the area where Grabovica was situated, and it was at the time the area of responsibility of the 6th Corps. The trial chamber found that those units were deployed to Herzegovina following an order issued by Sefer Halilovic. Grabovica was a village inhabited by Bosnia Croats. The trial chamber knows that Grabovica had been under ABiH control since May 1993, and the relationship between the residents of Grabovica and the ABiH soldiers who were stationed there was good, and there was no other accommodations available for the arriving troops. They were supposed to be billeted with the inhabitants of the village. The trial chamber has been provided with evidence concerning the nature of the 9th and 10th Brigades, referred to in the indictment as having notorious reputations of being criminal and uncontrolled. The evidence shows that members of both brigades not only demonstrated a lack of discipline, but also took civilians to dig trenches at the front line and committed thefts and other forms of misappropriation. However, the trial chamber found that these misconducts were not comparable to the crimes committed in Grabovica. The trial chamber notes in this respect the testimony of the 1st Corps commander, Vahida Karavidic, who, while knowing of the breaches of discipline and the previous behaviors of members of those brigades, said that it never occurred to him that they might commit atrocities against the civilians in Grabovica. The trial chamber has been provided with the evidence as to problems encountered by the troops when trying to accommodate themselves with the inhabitants of Grabovica. The trial chamber has found the evidence inconsistent as to the circumstances of the alleged statement of Grabovica Karic, in particular when and where it took place, and whether Sefer Halilovic was present, and moreover does not find the witnesses reliable in this respect. The trial chamber has further found that it has not been proven that Grabovica Karic made the alleged comments, or that Sefer Halilovic was present at the time. The trial chamber has been presented with evidence that, with the arrival of the unit of the Mountain Brigade, the atmosphere in the village of Grabovica changed, and acts of violence started occurring. Throughout the night of the 8th of September, shooting was heard in the village. One witness testified that she heard women wailing and crying, and she was just quite sitting on the floor and awaiting her fate. The trial chamber has established that by the early afternoon of the 9th of September, a number of inhabitants has been murdered by members of the ABiH units present in Grabovica at the time. The trial chamber takes particular note of the careless way in which the member of the Mountain Brigade shot Perry Maric while sitting at a table facing his victim. The trial chamber further notes the brutal way with which Ljubika Zajo and Mlandaka Zajo were killed. Ljubika Zajo was carrying her 4-year-old daughter, Mlandaka, when both were shot at short distance by members of the Mountain Brigade. Facts in relation to Uzdol. In 1993, Uzdol was a Bosnian Croat village comprised of several hamlets and with a total population of about 100 inhabitants. In September 1993, the HVO had several positions in and around Uzdol. The trial chamber found that in the early morning hours of the 14th of September, the Prozor Independent Battalion, gathered with some members of the civilian police force of the Ministry of Interior, attacked the headquarters of HVO, located in the school building of one of the hamlets of Uzdol. Shortly after the attack began, the HVO started shelling Uzdol. The trial chamber has found that during the attack, a number of the inhabitants were killed by the troops and the ABiH command. The trial chamber notes that some of the killings committed in Uzdol were particularly cruel in nature. The trial chamber notes in this respect the killing of Anika Stojanovic, who was half-seated on the ground next to her house when a soldier who was standing 3 meters away from her killed her by a shot to the head. The testimony showed that she cried out the name of her son before she was shot. The trial chamber also notes the direct evidence concerning the manner of killing Ruza Zelic and her 2 children, who was 13 and 10 years old at the time of their deaths. The 3 had tried to flee from the soldiers, but the soldiers caught up by them